Hello, I'm Tia Wright, and it is currently tax season, so I'm pretty busy doing taxes at the beginning of the year. I also do real estate throughout the year, and I have probably about 10 agents located in Missouri and Illinois.
Tell us a little bit about yourself and your background, Miss Tia.
I am 49. I'm originally from East St. Louis. I went to District 189 schools, Dunbar, Hughes Quinn, Lincoln, graduated 1992, and I wanted to reinvest in East St. Louis, so I got into real estate and started like buying some properties to rehab and renovate and made rental properties there. And I also had my first tax office was located in East St. Louis on State Street for over 10 years. So I've been in real estate and taxes since about 2006 for real estate and 1998 for taxes.
What motivated you to want to get into those two fields?
Um, Actually, when I went to college, I went to St. Louis University, and I actually studied computer science. So I was in that field for 20 years, computer science technology, and I was a software engineer working for a major company for about 16 years, and then I switched companies and worked another 2 years before I started doing real estate, which I also had wanted to get into investment properties, and that's how I got into real estate. So I can rehab one house at a time in East St. Louis. That was like my major goal to be able to do.
What was your first experience buying property in East St. Louis?
My first experience, I bought a foreclosure. It was needing to be renovated. It was, I would say, it was about 16,000. I think that was about 2006 or somewhere around there. I got my first property, and it was pretty simple transaction. And I thought, hey, I can do this for myself. I can be the agent. I can find the properties first. And that's what I got into real estate as well. So I was doing that and working in computer science at the same time.
So, what made you go into computer science?
It just seemed like I was always good in math. And at first I was in marketing, and that didn't fit what I was, what fit me, because I was trying to do, like, my brother was a marketing major. I wanted to be more like him. But once I got into school, I realized that I like math more and computers, and so that was the field. And I actually got a job like right out of high school in computer science with a company called Enterprise Rent a Car, and they trained you to be a programmer. I really didn't even know what that was. It was just like, oh yeah, I'll do that. And then I found out it was the same field I was in college, so it kind of worked out. And I did that for 20 years.
What made you want to reinvest into East St. Louis?
Just seeing the houses being dilapidated, and I'm thinking that people from that community should come back and reinvest if they can. Even if everybody come back and reinvest, even in the house that they grew up in, like to fix it back up, it'll make the community better. But it's still a lot of love needed in the city. One person can't do it. Everybody got to pitch in and get houses and reinvest or rehab them, sell them, rent them out, make a sense of pride of the neighborhood, clean up the community. It's needed.
What are some of the challenges that a woman faces in the real estate field, in your opinion? Or are there any?
Oh yeah, it's a lot of challenges being a woman and being a black person. Period. Being taken serious. That's the number one. A lot of challenges I found, even with dealing with contractors. They want to know, who are they meeting with? Were they meeting with a woman? Well, one contractor told me they was gonna wait on my partner who didn't even own the house. I'm like, well, I own the house, so you need to wait on me. I'm the decision maker. But just being taken serious as a woman sometimes, still today, is a issue.
How does that make you feel?
Nothing. It don't do anything anymore because I'm used to it. But I came from East St. Louis, and I went to an all-black school mostly, and then I went to college, to a majority white college. So the culture shock that I experienced was in the beginning, and that's throughout. Like, you have to be able to be in both societies and be able to be balanced in it, and that's what I found. So anything that comes along, I deal with so much racism and discrimination that it's like a normal situation that you have to be used to and have to be able to know that you will eventually go through these things. So you have to be prepared for it and not let you not change your perspective on anything.
What brought about the tax business? What made you want to get off into that field?
I have a great aunt that she worked at H&R Block for 20 plus years, and she was doing everybody taxes, and I just kept going to her and say, hey, can you teach me how to do this and that? And I bought TurboTax, and I wanted to do my mom's taxes. She wouldn't even let me do it because she was going to my aunt. But I started getting like customers myself and doing them. And then I really want to be like my aunt and have this H&R Block, like this business. She knew everything. She was really, really smart. She really good in math. Her name's Opal. I love my aunt Opal. But I learned all my taxes from my aunt, and I've been doing it since a long time, like maybe a few years out of high school. So 1998. I'm good at looking at numbers and trying to help people get the most money that they deserve to get. So that's why I got into it.
What are some of the biggest myths that you had to overcome it dealing with the tax field that people think are one way, but they're really a whole nother way as far as taxes are
The
concerned?
biggest thing that you have to know how to tell people that every tax return, you don't, just because you file taxes, you don't get money back. Actually, taxes is filed so you can know if you paid enough into the government or if you paid enough throughout the year and if you have to pay more. But most people, since they have a lot of credits in our community, will think, hey, I'm getting I worked and I deserve taxes back, not knowing that what the credits were for. So that's the biggest myth, that every person deserves a refund. And every person, even if you worked, sometimes you might have to pay. Or if you don't have those deductions like for children or anything, that's a myth. Even if you have children and worked, according to your income, you might not get a refund. So that's the biggest myth with taxes, people being upset about not getting refunds.
What are some of the biggest myths minorities you've had to overcome as a minority in the real estate field that they believe is one way when it's really a whole nother way when you actually get off into it?
I don't know what I would say our biggest myth is, but the biggest thing that I found that was so surprising is that only like 40% of Black people own a house. And that was really, really discouraging to find out that majority of African American Black people actually rent properties and no one becomes homeowners. So the myth could be like, it's the American dream that everybody can own a house. Well, maybe that is a myth in the Black community because we are not owning all the houses. We're helping other people own their house by renting for years and years on end. I had a friend who lived down the street from me their whole life, and after their mom died, I found out that whole time they were renting, and it had been like 40 years. And then another family member had moved in and rented that same house instead of owning it. So when they bought the house for that landlord, and then the landlord could take that and just keep using it for other people to rent it. But eventually, we need to learn that if you can afford rent, that's the myth. If you can afford rent, you can afford to buy your own home. So we need to get our credit together and make sure that we have all our documents and know the tools that we need to be able to purchase homes. And that's what we try to do here at Just Right Realty. We try to do a lot of training on that. We have in first-time homebuyer seminars, and we have agents that specialize in that. And we pair with lenders that try to help people get into homes.
So what are some of the challenges that a first-time homeowner faces, and how do you help them through that process?
A lot of first-time home buyers face the affordability of being able to buy a home, like saving up the amount of money needed. A lot of loans you have to put down for FHA, you have to put down 3.5% plus closing costs. So if you buy $100,000 house, 3.5% is $3,500. But a lot of people might not have that amount of money saved. A lot of people live paycheck to paycheck. So we need to change the narrative and start living beneath our means instead of living over our means And saving money, that should be like a natural thing. Like once you make this set amount of money, only spend this specific amount of money, and make sure that you always saving, because we should be able to buy houses and have money saved and not rely on grants, which there are grants available for first time home buyers that give you down payment money and everything, but we shouldn't have to rely on that. We should be able to save and have our own money.
So is it our lack of financial literacy that kind of holds us back in that home owning situation?
It's definitely that, and that should be taught in school.
Which is not.
Which is not taught in school, because I didn't learn anything about it in school. Maybe we learned how to fill out a check in some specialty classes, but what I'm saying, if we're gonna do better with our people in our schools, like in District 189, start teaching on savings and banking and credit, which is the biggest thing, because if you have good credit, you can do anything. You can do anything everybody else is doing. But we don't teach on that. We send our kids to college, and the first thing they do is give everybody credit cards, but they don't tell them that, hey, if you don't pay this back, or you can't afford to pay this back, why are they giving you these credit cards? So they tell you to get these credit cards and run your credit up, or get these student loans, and maybe you'll get a job out of college that you can afford to pay these back. But it's not happening like that. People are going to college, coming home with this debt. I mean, like, the student loan debt is outrageous. We need to teach this in schools. We had like counselors in school about college and everything, but we didn't have them telling us about how much money it's going to take to go to college. If you're going to get a scholarship, or if you're going to get these student loans, how it will affect you later down the line.
Have you ever thought about implementing any programs to teach the youth these problems that are going to occur later on in life that they should be aware of now? Have you ever thought about that?
No, but I have thought about that for first-time home buyers related to real estate, and that is a good idea. But it should be definitely implemented in the schools, in like a regular curriculum, not like a specialty curriculum. Just like this financial literacy. I can't even say that word right, but being financially aware of your situation and money, and how to manage it and how to save. Saving money and credit, those two biggest things that you can do.
What has been some of your highlights of your real estate and tax career, in your opinion? Like, what are some of the ups where you were really proud of your accomplishments?
Some of the biggest ups are just seeing people happy being able to get into their first home. Really nice homes. Everybody deserves a really nice home. So being able to buy a home and go through the whole credit process and get those keys at the end, and also filing your taxes and getting nice refunds back. Those make me proud. Like, you getting this money that you really deserve to get, and hopefully that you do something well with it. So you can take your taxes and real estate go together, because without your tax refunds or your income taxes being prepared, you can't get a loan. You have to show your tax returns, like 2 to 3 years of your tax returns, to be able to get a loan to get a house. So making sure that people know that when they're filing their taxes, to like, hey, save these dollars. This can help you with your tax refund to be able to buy a house for your family.
So you preach real estate as an investment long term, and as a building block for financial independence for minorities, basically. You're an advocate of that.
I am, and that's why I started originally in East St. Louis. So that's where my business was, there in East St. Louis, to try to, when they come in my tax office, it's not just getting your taxes prepared. Everybody tells you, they sit in with you for like 2 to 3 hours sometimes. So you can at least talk about real estate, you can talk about life problems. Sometimes I'm just a counselor, but like, everybody comes in and bring their information to you, and you got to be private about it. But while you're there, you can at least try to teach and encourage people to do better.
So East St. Louis is a place that you definitely want to shed light on and showcase, as far as building back up to what it used to be in the yesteryears.
Yes, where it can be today. Just start off one person, one building block, one one person cleaning up their front yard. Each person clean up your front yard and build your own home.
How was it having your first business in East St. Louis?
It was exciting. It was really
Did
exciting.
you face any difficulties?
I faced difficulties with the city of East St. Louis, honestly. And that's when people trying to invest in the city of East St. Louis, it needs to be a little bit easier. Sometimes they treat people like out-of-town investors coming in to take over, but maybe it's just people that live there and that's from there that just want to come back and do something.
So what obstacles did you face in that situation?
Just like code enforcement, getting a license, and this stuff that's supposed to be kind of easy, like black and white, but it becomes really difficult because it's not done properly. So I got a customer.
Okay, so we appreciate you sitting down with
Okay.
us, and you can tell us anything about your businesses right now in closing.
Okay.
Where you
In
located?
closing, yeah, during tax season it's kind of busy, so I'm happy you were able to get to me. And I had a 4 o'clock appointment, but they must be here a little early.
Appreciate you sitting back with us. Thank you.
Thank you.